Good evening, friends. Tervan Saranai. Welcome to our online broadcast here from the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. We go live every day at 6:30, sharing with you our evening worship, chanting, short Dhamma reflection and meditation, so that during this rains retreat you can participate, commit yourself, develop and enhance your spiritual practice, even paramitas over the next 3 months, and it gives a great opportunity to develop your own well-being through this committed practice. So the 3 months of rains retreat will continue, and the series of broadcasts will terminate with our robe offering ceremony, which is scheduled on the 25th of November. And we hope you will be able to participate as well. All programs are available for sponsorship, and every donation raised will go towards our building fund, which will be utilized to set up a permanent base for the London Mindfulness Meditation Center, and your generous contribution so far is much appreciated. Please do share our links or details so that your friends who are also keen with similar minded can also participate in this wholesome deed in setting up a vihara. And there will be lots of programs organized following this setup, so we hope to have a permanent base as soon as possible. So today the puja is sponsored by 2 parties. The first is Mr. and Mrs. Nilmini and the family's intention is to bless Sharini, Arini, Kiyashini, Tashima and Kavisha, so blessing children for their good health and happiness, so own children as well as Tashima and Kavisha. So blessing the children for their good health, happiness, and most importantly, a very successful future. So Nilmini, Mr. and Mrs. Nilmini Sarvana are participating online. And we also have Dhammika Uguda would like to bless Roshan Uguda, so all the way from Middle East, would like to bless Roshan, who is celebrating his birthday today. So Dhammika would like to bless dear husband. So many happy returns of the day. The London Mindfulness Meditation Center community would also like to wish you a very happy birthday. May this day bring you every happiness. May all your righteous aspirations be fulfilled. May the blessing of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha be upon you for your well-being and happiness. So thank you for joining with us from abroad. So before we worship the Buddha, it is customary to observe precepts. Please say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramēraya majjapamā datthāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Tisaranena saddhiṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammang sādhukang surakkhitāṃ kattvā appamādena sampādē tabbang. Let us worship the Buddha together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammā sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagavā arahaṃ sammā sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasārati sattā deva manussānaṃ buddho bhagavāti. Buddhaṃ jīvita pariyantaṃ saranaṃ gacchāmi. Ye ca buddhā atītā ca ye ca buddhā anāgatā. Paccappanā ca ye buddhā ahaṃ vandāmi sabbadā. Natti me saranaṃ aññaṃ buddho me saranaṃ varaṃ. Etena sacca vajjena hotu me jaya mangalaṃ. Uttamaṃ vandehaṃ pādapaṃ savaruttamam. Buddheyo kalito doso buddho khamatu taṃ mamam. Svakhato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko. Ehi passiko opanayiko paccattaṃ veditabbo viññuhiti. Tammaṃ jīvita pariyantaṃ saranaṃ gacchāmi. Ye ca dhamma atītā ca ye ca dhamma anāgatā. Paccappanā ca ye dhamma ahaṃ vandāmi sabbadā. Natti me saranaṃ aññaṃ dhammo me saranaṃ varaṃ. Etena sacca vajjena hotu me jaya mangalaṃ. Uttamaṃ vandehaṃ dhammaṃ ca tividhaṃ varaṃ. Tammeyo khalito doso Dhammo khamatu tang mamang Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samicipatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang cattari purisa yugani Attha purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punyakhetang lokasati Sanghang jivita pariyantang saranang gacchami Yeca sangha atita ca yeca sangha anagata Paccapanna ca ye sangha ahang vandami sambeda Natti me saranang anyang sangho me saranang varang Etene sacca vajjene Hotu me jaya mangalang Uttamangena vandehang Sanghang ca tividhottamang Sangheyo khalito doso Sangho khamatu tang mamang Kanasarappadittene dīpene tamadangsina Tiloka dīpang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang Vannagandha gunopetang etang kusuma santating Pujayami munindassa siripada saruruhe Pujemi buddhang kusumena nena Punyena metena ca hotu mokkang Puppang milayati yata idamme Kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang Adhivase no bhante paniyang parikappitang Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu uttama Adhivase no bhante gilana paccayang imang Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu uttama Adhivase no bhante gilana paccayang imang Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu uttama Adhivase no bhante sabbang saddhaya pujitang Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu uttama Vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbatani supatititang Saririka dhatu mahabodhing Buddha rupang sakalang sada Yassa mule nisenno ve sabbari vijayang aka Patta sabbanyutang sattha vandetang bodhipadapang Ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita Ahampi te namassami bodhiraja namattute. Kayena vaca cittene pamadene maya katang Acayang kamami bante buri panye tathagata. Yatavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Yatavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Yatavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammine mami bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Idam me punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. If you have just joined us, we go live every day at 6:30 during this rains retreat, sharing with you our evening worship, chanting and meditation. And devotees sponsor the pujas over the rains retreat so that they can commit themselves to religious practice during this spiritual season, accumulate merit, and also develop the knowledge of the Dhamma, or even remind themselves so that the practice becomes more strong and resulting in great achievement of paramitas. So this spiritual season, monks and devotees get together to discuss, to actually engage in religious programs. And we have provided this online service so that you can participate from home or wherever you are, even at work, if you are committed and if you are able to. And every sponsorship is directed towards our recently launched building fund. So it will be used to secure a permanent base for the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. So we are at the moment providing our service from our rented premises. So we believe your support will be really, really good and important for our services that we are providing, and so that we can also enhance our services to a next stage. So today we are going to chant the Ratana Sutta and Chundathira Bojjhanga Sutta and Jai Paritta, and especially to bless our sponsors of today's puja. So Mr. and Mrs. Nilmini Sarvana are sponsoring the program to bless the whole family and in-laws, relatives and friends, but most importantly to bless their daughters Sharvini, Arini, Kiyashini, and also the blessing to Shima and Kavisha, so we their nieces. So we wish the whole family with good health and happiness. May the children be blessed with good health. May their righteous aspirations be fulfilled, and may their future also be successful. So we also join from the Middle East, Dhammika Ugoda, who would like to bless dear husband Roshan, who is celebrating his birthday. So may this day bring you every happiness. May the next year and future bring you every happiness and success. May all your righteous aspirations be fulfilled. May the compassion of the Buddha and may the virtues of the Triple Limb be upon you and Dhammi for good health, happiness, success and prosperity. So with that kind intention, please join me in chanting the suttas to also bless the sponsors and their family members. We also bless you as regular participants. May you all and your loved ones also be blessed with good health and happiness throughout. So please listen to the chanting with great attention as well if you are not chanting with us. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunantu Sagga Mokkadang Parittassavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Parittassavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Dhammassavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Yani bhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vantalikhe Sabbeva bhuta sumana bhavantu atho pisakkacca sunantu bhasitang Tasmahi bhutani samita sabbe mettang karote manusiya pajaya Divacaratto chaharanti baling tasmahine rakkata appamatta Yang kinci vittang idevahurang va saggesu vayang ratanang panitang Nano samang atti tathagatena idampi buddhe ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Khayang viragang amatang panitang yadajjaga sakya muni samahito Natena dhammena samatte kinche idampi dhamme ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Yang buddha setta parivannai sucing samadhimanantari kanyamahu Samadhinatena samona vijjati idampi dhamme ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye puggala atta satang pasattaha chattari etani yugani honti Te dakkineya sugatassa savaka ete sudinnani mahaphalani Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye suppayutta manasa dalhene nikamino gotama sasanam hi Te patti patta amatang vigaiha ladda muda nibbuting bhunjamana Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Yatinda kihilo pathaving sito siya chatubhi vate bhiya sampakampiyo Tathupamang sappuri sangvadami yo ariya saccani avecca passati Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye ariya saccani vibhavayanti gambhira panyena sudesitani Kincapite honti bhusappamatta nate bhavang attamang adiyanti Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu සහවස්ස දස්සන සම්පදාය තයස්සු ධම්මා ජහිතා භවಂತಿ සක්කාය දිට්ඨි විචිකිච්ඡිතං ච සීලබ්බතං වාපිය දත්ති කිංචි චතුහ පායේහි ච විප්පමුත්තෝ චචාබිඨානානි අභබ්බෝ කාතුං ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කිංචාපි සෝ කම්මං කරෝති පාපකං කායේන වාචා උදචේතසාවා අභබ්බෝ සෝතස්ස පටිච්චාදාය අභබ්බතා දිට්ඨ පදස්ස වුත්තා ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වනප්ප ගුම්බේ යතහා පුස්සිතග්ගේ ගිම්හාන මාසේ පඨමස්මින් ගිම්හේ තතුපමං ධම්ම වරං අදේසයි නිබ්බාන ගාමින් පරමං හිතාය ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වරෝ වරඤ්ඤෝ වරදෝ වරාහරෝ අනුත්තරෝ ධම්ම වරං අදේසයි ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කිහිනං පුරාණං නවං නත්ති සම්භවං විරත්ත චිත්තා ආයතිකේ භවස්මින් තේකීන බීජා අවිරුල් හිච්ඡන්ද නිබ්බන්ති දීරා යතහායං පදීපෝ ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං බුද්ධං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං ධම්මං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං සංඝං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන දුක්ඛාවුපසමින්තු තේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන භයාවුපසමින්තු තේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන රෝගාවුපසමින්තු තේ එවං මේ සුතං ඒකං සමයං භගවා රාජගහේ විහෙරති වේලුවනේ කලන්දක නිවාපේ තේන කෝපන සමයේන භගවා ආබාධිකෝ හෝති දුක්ඛිතෝ බාල්හගිලානෝ අතකෝ ආයස්මා මහාචුන්දෝ සායන්හ සමයං පතිසල්ලානා වුට්ඨිතෝ යේන භගවාතේනුපසංකමි උපසංකමිත්වා භගවන්තං අභිවාදෙත්වා ඒකමන්තං නිසීදී ඒකමන්තං නිසින්නං කෝ ආයස්මන්තං මහාචුන්දං භගවායේ තදවෝචේ පටිභන්තු තං චුන්ද බොජ්ජංගාති සත්තිමේ භන්තේ බොජ්ජංගා භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතා භාවිතා බහුලීකතා අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තන්ති කතමේ සත්ත සති සම්බොජ්ජංගෝ කෝ භන්තේ භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතෝ භාවිතෝ බහුලීකතෝ අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තති ධම්මවිචය සම්බොජ්ජංගෝ කෝ භන්තේ භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතෝ භාවිතෝ බහුලීකතෝ අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තති විරිය සම්බොජ්ජංගෝ කෝ භන්තේ භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතෝ භාවිතෝ බහුලීකතෝ අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තති පීති සම්බොජ්ජංගෝ කෝ භන්තේ භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතෝ භාවිතෝ බහුලීකතෝ අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තති පස්සද්ධි සම්බොජ්ජංගෝ කෝ භන්තේ භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතෝ භාවිතෝ බහුලීකතෝ අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තති සමාධි සම්බොජ්ජංගෝ කෝ භන්තේ භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතෝ භාවිතෝ බහුලීකතෝ අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තති උපේක්ඛා සම්බොජ්ජංගෝ කෝ භන්තේ භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතෝ භාවිතෝ බහුලීකතෝ අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තති ඉමේ කෝ භන්තේ සත්බොජ්ජංගා භගවතා සම්මදක්ඛාතා භාවිතා බහුලීකතා අභිඤ්ඤාය සම්බෝධාය නිබ්බානාය සංවත්තන්ති තග්ග චුන්ද බොජ්ජංගා තග්ග චුන්ද බොජ්ජංගාති ඉදමෝ චායස්මා මහා චුන්දෝ සමනුඤ්ඤෝ සත්තා අහෝසි උට්ඨාහිච භගවා තම්මා ආබාධා තථාපහිනෝ ච භගවතෝ සෝ ආබාධෝ අහෝසීති ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන රෝගා වූපසමින්තුතේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන රෝගා වූපසමින්තුතේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන රෝගා වූපසමින්තුතේ සිරිධිති මති තේජෝ ජය සිද්ධි මහිද්දි මහාගුණං අපරිමිත පුඤ්ඤාධිකාරස්ස සබ්බන්තරාය නිවාරණ සමත්තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස ද්වත්තෙන් සමහා පුරිස ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන අසීත්‍යනෝ ව්‍යංජන ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන අට්ඨුත්තර සතමංගල ලක්ඛනානුභාවේන සබ්බන්නරං ස්යානුභාවේන කේතුමාලානුභාවේන දසපාරමිතානුභාවේන දස උපපාරමිතානුභාවේන දස පරමත්ත පාරමිතානුභාවේන සීල සමාධි පඤ්ඤානුභාවේන බුද්ධානුභාවේන ධම්මානුභාවේන සංඝානුභාවේන තේජානුභාවේන ඉද්ධානුභාවේන බලානුභාවේන ඤෙය්‍ය ධම්මානුභාවේන චතුරාසීති සහස්ස ධම්මක්ඛන්ධානුභාවේන නවලෝකුත්තර ධම්මානුභාවේන අට්ඨංගික මග්ගානුභාවේන අට්ඨ සමාපත්ත්‍යානුභාවේන චලභිඤ්ඤානුභාවේන මෙත්තා කරුණා මුදිතා උපේක්ඛානුභාවේන සම්බ පාරමිතානුභාවේන රතනත්තය සරණානුභාවේන ත්‍විහං සබ්බ රෝග ශෝක උපන්දව දුක්ඛ දෝමනස්ස පායාසා විනස්සන්තු සබ්බ සංකප්පා ත්‍විහං සමිජ්ජන්තු දීඝායුකෝ හෝතු සතවස්ස ජීවේන සමංගිකෝ හෝතු සම්බදා ආකාස පම්බත වන භූමි තටාක ගංගා මහා සමුද්ද ආරක්කක දේවතා සදා තුම්හෙ අනුරක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන බුද්ධ රතනං ධම්ම රතනං සංඝ රතනං තින්නං රතනානං ආනුභාවේන චතුරාසීති සහස්ස ධම්මක්ඛන්ධානුභාවේන පිටකත්තයානුභාවේන ජින ශාවකානුභාවේන සබ්බේතේ රෝගා සබ්බේතේ භයා සම්බේතේ අන්තරායා සම්බේතේ උපද්දවා සබ්බේතේ දුන්නිමිත්තා සබ්බේතේ අවමංගලා විනස්සන්තු ආයුවද්ධකෝ ධනවද්ධකෝ සිරිවද්ධකෝ යසවද්ධකෝ බලවද්ධකෝ වන්නවද්ධකෝ සුඛවද්ධකෝ හෝතු සම්බදා සබ්බාව මංගල මුපන්දව දුන්නිමිත්තං සබ්බීති රෝග ගහ දෝසමසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය භය දුස්සුපිනං අකන්තං බුද්ධානුභාව පවරේන පයාතුනාසං සබ්බාව මංගල මුපන්දව දුන්නිමිත්තං සබ්බීති රෝග ගහ දෝසමසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය භය දුස්සුපිනං අකන්තං ධම්මානුභාව පවරේන පයාතුනාසං සබ්බාව මංගල මුපන්දව දුන්නිමිත්තං සබ්බීති රෝග ගහ දෝසමසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය භය දුස්සුපිනං අකන්තං සංඝානුභාව පවරේන පයාතුනාසං දුක්ඛ රෝග භයා වේරා ශෝකා සබ්බේ උපද්දවා අනේකා අන්තරායාපි විනස්සන්තු ච තේජසා ජය සිද්ධි ධනං ලාභං සොත්ති භාග්‍යං සුඛං බලං සිරියායුච වන්නෝ ච භෝගං බුද්ධි ච යසවා සතවස්සා ච ආයු ච ජීව සිද්ධි භවන්තු තේ දේවෝ වස්සතු කාලේන සස්ස සම්පත්ති හේතු ච පීතෝ භවතු ලෝකෝ ච රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ ආකාසට්ඨා ච භුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච භුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu dhamma desanang akasattha ca bhummatta Deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mang paranti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you and your loved ones be blessed with good health and happiness. May the compassion of the Buddha embodied in the chantings, may the truth embodied in the chantings, may the virtues of the Triple Gem embodied in the chantings be conducive for your well-being and happiness. May the recitation be conducive for your well-being and happiness. So we are blessing especially our two sponsors, so Nilmini, Mr. and Mrs. Nilmini Sarvana would like to bless their children, Sharini, Arini, and Kiyashini, and also nieces Tashima and Kavisha, and in-laws and family, close families and distant families. So may they all be blessed with good health and happiness. And we also joined from the Middle East, Dami and Roshan. So Dami Good would like to bless dear husband Roshan a very happy birthday. So we wish you every happiness. May the truth embodied chantings with the compassion of the Buddha be upon you for your good health, happiness, success and prosperity. May you all enjoy every happiness in the future. May no barriers come in your ways for your success in future. May the education of Sharini, Arini, Kiyashini, and Tashima and Kavisha also be successful, and may that be conducive for their successful future. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So if you have joined us, we go live every day at 6:30, but tomorrow we will be having an early puja around 5 o'clock. If we do not go live at 5 o'clock, we will upload the recorded program at 6:30 onwards for you to participate. So schedule change. Tomorrow puja will be at 5 o'clock here from the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. So we will upload the program that we have recorded if we are not able to broadcast live. So we will let you know tomorrow. So this is the time for our short Dham reflection, and if you are still with us, we were talking about what actually binds you to the samsara. So samsara is the life cycle or the cycle of births, and what binds you to it. And obviously the entailing of the suffering is caused because of the births that take place. And therefore what binds you to the samsara is that birth, and what causes for the birth or rebirth to take place, or even our suffering, is the greed to our sensual pleasures, is the delusion, and is the dislikes that takes place. That is what binds us. So we call that kilesa or defilements. So kilesa is in Pali, defilements is something that pollutes or makes your mind impure. So unless and until we uproot lobha, greed, dosa, hatred, moha, ignorance or delusion, unless and until we uproot those, it will be difficult for us to find complete blissful state of freedom or enlightenment. So even the word nibbana or nirvana, so the absence of greed, tanhakkayo nibbanam, absence of greed or the cessation of greed, tanha is nibbana. Dosakkayo nibbana, the cessation of anger is nibbana, or hatred is nibbana. The cessation of delusion, mohakkayo nibbana. So it is quite important to realize that, and all the Buddha's teachings are directed for us to make sure that if something is helping us to reduce lobha, dosa, moha, that is what the Buddha's teachings are. And if any teaching does not reduce lobha, dosa, moha, it will not fall into the category of that. There are teachings, but everything is directed towards the reduction or the strategies, or even for good living, and hence then follow, and slowly that will direct you to the Buddha's teaching. So it is for us to minimize those arising of those. So every wholesome deed, because if you look at the summary of the Buddha, Sabba Papa Sakaranam, free yourself from all evil actions. So Papa means evil, so it can be evil through deeds, through speech, through thinking. So they're all unskillful. So the summary of Buddhism is to free yourself or to avoid evil. So the word akarana means not to do. So therefore it is to abstain from evil. Speech, thinking, even actions. So you can see that the Buddha's teachings are so that's the summary. And also kusala sopasampada, to free yourself from those, and then develop skillful means to support yourself for that freedom. Support yourself for that freedom. It's quite important to realize that kusala sopasampada. So the teachings of the Buddha is for us to develop this kusala and paramita, so that we can reduce the suffering, or we can reduce the entailing suffering and cycle of births. So when you practice the Dhamma, it helps us to be mindful of all the possibilities, the tendencies, so that we can gradually reduce those arising in our thoughts. And once we completely uproot them, then we'll be free. So in order to actually help us understand that, we try to go through a few step by step. So we referred to what makes us not be able to reduce, or to even to stop understanding the truth is, according to the Buddha's teachings, is this fetters that we referred to, the three fetters, Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha, and Silabbata Paramasa. So that is one lesson. Until we reduce the identity matters that arises within our selves, thought processes, the identity, the personality, that is what we have to learn how to unpack. Be mindful to see where do these arise within us. In most cases, it's quite obvious because of the personalizing. Because when you personalize your experiences or the encounters of day-to-day experiences, even thought processes, we then tend to form a baggage of identity, personality, and that we call I and me and my. This is me, and this me or this I only likes these things and doesn't like these things. And trying to feed this is what is making us find the difficulty in trying to practice correctly. It's quite important to understand. This is just a recap, by the way. So if you want, you can go to our previous talks. So the lack of understanding of the truth is because of this grasping of that identity that I just said as permanent. And there is something within me or I, my, and that grasping becomes a problem for us to then, because everything that challenges becomes a problem. Everything that challenges means there is a form of dissatisfaction, and once that dissatisfaction is freed, then only we can actually understand the truth. Otherwise, we understand the truth assuming that this is what it is. We only understand from our points of views, from our something that suits your mindset or frame, your way of thinking. And if it doesn't suit that, then you will not even try to understand the Dhamma. So therefore, that goes into Vicikiccha. You start doubting the teachings, doubting the teacher, doubting the teachings, doubting the practice, and that completely stops us. And when there is doubt, sometimes we tend to get hold of certain practices and think that is the only way, and this is what we also need to free. Silabbata Paramasa. There are rites and rituals that sometimes we need to free ourselves completely. It helps us to actually, because the Buddha Dhamma is not dogmatic. The Buddha Dhamma is not dogmatic. So we can free ourselves. Sticking and holding and grasping one sometimes might not be the true way of understanding. So we referred to that doubt, which is the lack of conviction. So sometimes, I referred to in one of the previous talks, as much as we have faith in our GPs, doctor, then we have trust in the service provided, the medicine that you are taking. Similarly, once we accept the Buddha as our teacher, accept his teachings as the Dhamma as his teachings as something to learn, we should try to understand this without limitations, or without perhaps coming to a point of the inquiry. We need to explore. We need to explore the Dhamma. We need to practice the Dhamma first, and gradually you'll start understanding the Dhamma. Sometimes we start having doubt in our journey. We start having doubt, but once you have conviction or trust in the Buddha, then there should be no space for doubt. There should be no space for doubt. Just because you know that the Buddha's teachings are good, or the Buddhist practice of meditation is good, unless and until you practice it, you will not be able to understand what it means. And don't go with the flow, don't go with the wave, or don't actually just follow for the sake of following, just because my parents follow, or just because my teachers told me. Try to perhaps even grasp a sentence, a word, or a teaching, or even one word that will help us understand the Dhamma. That is better than actually trying to understand lots. So that is quite important. So the lack comes in perhaps in two ways of the lack of trust. One is the lack of trust in the when you don't have trust in the Buddha, when you don't have trust in the Dhamma, when you don't have trust in the Sangha, the practice, the community, the Kalyan Mittas, even the Sangha, as in terms of monks and nuns. Sometimes there is a bit of a skeptical doubt arising in quite a negative way, and that stops you from actually truly understanding, because as if you've put in like a glass of and you start seeing things with your own understanding, and therefore you can sometimes be have an open-minded to understand the Dhamma. So don't try to understand through your ways of understanding, sometimes because the interpretation can be different. Your experience of headache that you even explain to someone might be different to another person explaining their headache, but headache is headache. So the problem is a problem. Once you understand it, then it can help us, or any other things. As we are focusing on suffering, so we're trying to just limit ourselves to the word suffering for the time being. So when you when you have doubt, there are other doubts as well about rebirth and about this and that when you go into commentaries. But in this case, as long as you have trust in the teacher, then you can slowly start learning the Dhamma. But that doesn't mean you accept what the teacher says completely. You also have to be open. That's why when we swakhato bhagavata, you have to understand it yourself, not the way the teacher understood. They can help us understand. That's why even in the Dhamma it says pacchatang vedapuvenyuhi. So it is based on our own intelligence. We will understand, but the more you understand, you will continue to understand better and better. Sometimes this doubt comes into our own practices as well. That's why we have a doubt is like flickering mindset. It's shaky. Imagine there was a storm, and sometimes if there's a strong current in the stream, if you are doubtful, you'll start just stepping to see whether you can cross the stream or not. But when you have confidence, you can cross with great confidence. Similarly, Vicikiccha stops us from understanding certain things, and that even in your practices. That's why the five hindrances, pancha nivarana, also has the word vicikiccha, not just the 10 fetters. So vicikiccha is lacking the trust in your own abilities. Sometimes we need to, because of the conceit, we might be overshadowed, but in your own practices, if you start trusting your practice, every little helps in your practice. As long as you are following the teachings that reduces the lobha, reduces dosa, and reduces moha, greed, hatred, ignorance. If certain practices increases those, then that is not truly what the Buddha wanted you to actually practice. So therefore, having an open mind itself is important even in your own practice. That's why sometimes I refer to Venerable Sona. If you sometimes grasp a certain practice to the ultimatum, it can also be a barrier to your own progress, and even in spiritual context. It will be a barrier to spiritual context. So you have to sometimes trust your own practice. Just because, say for example, in terms of mindfulness, just because there was an anger at a given moment, if you are mindful that the presence of it is there, and that itself is a good contemplation. So because we aren't enlightened, there will always be greed, hatred, arising given the moment. But being mindful of its presence in the raganupassya viharati, or dosanupassya viharati. So you can actually see the presence of it, because again, without judgment. This is quite important in Buddhism, is to free yourself from judgmental attitudes. So even though you don't like something, so when you say that doesn't suit your to your accepted norms and values or whatever, sometimes we just have to let go of our identity that I actually mentioned earlier, and without judgment, just notice what it is, whether it is a thought process or whether it is an action, and rather than actually you yourself getting conditioned by that moment. Don't get conditioned. So don't bring yourself into a conditioned moment. Even sometimes your reaction, so next time it happens, the reaction will then reduce. Next time it happens, you will start actually practicing the meditation, mindfulness. Even though you are working, you can start developing that form of practice. So I'd like to continue to discuss this, of how to bring mindfulness into our day-to-day practices gradually. So all in all, today was about doubt being a barrier for your progress in spirituality, doubt being one of the reasons for you to not be able to reduce lobha, dosa, moha, because you are still pursuing your sensual pleasures. And part of that will also be in terms of your own spiritual practice, doubting your practice. So when you are open-mindedly and accepting, rather than actually just being told, sometimes you can practice the Dhamma and truly understand the Dhamma in a very different way. So your own understanding sometimes is better, but it is always important to cross-check with a teacher or with someone, so that you can then be assured, again free from doubt, that you are actually practicing something correctly. So the Kalyan with association is quite important. Someone who is knowledgeable, someone who is practicing, so that they can guide you to correct place, but to correct sort of practice. So Vicikiccha serves in two barriers at the moment. And let us understand at least in that way. One is doubt in the teachings, doubt in the practice of the or doubt in the Buddha, so doubt in the triple gem. So that will then completely stop you from actually accepting the Buddha as a guide, or enlightenment as a guide or destination. So then you will not do anything anyway. Secondly, your practices, if you once you start doubting, then obviously you will not be firm in your practice as well. But having said that, that should not be taken as clinging moment, because it will then lead to Sakkaya Ditya, so Silabbata Paramas as well. So a very short food reflection, food for thinking. We will then continue the next level of the Tayodhamma Sutta in day after tomorrow. So thank you for listening. Now we will do meditation briefly to conclude our program. So first of all, just close your eyes and be resting or be restful, relaxed body. So if you want, you can adjust yourself to have this convenient posture that will help you to meditate for a few minutes. So once you're mindful of your posture, observe the flow of your breath for a few minutes. Just engage in mindful breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. brings us to the close of today's online broadcast. Thank you for joining with us this evening. Do join us daily if possible at 6:30 tomorrow, with the exception of tomorrow. So thank you and have a very good evening, restful evening. Take care and have a very good night. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Tervan Saranai.